This is Golliwog, a fictional character created by Florence Upton in her 1895 children's book, The Adventures of Two Dutch Dolls. Inspired by blackface minstrel imagery and the Golliwog dolls of that era, the character embodied and perpetuated racial stereotypes of African Americans. Over time, this doll would symbolize the racial caricature reflecting the prejudiced attitudes prevalent in late 19th and early 20th century Western culture. By naming his latest LP after this offensive creation, Brooklyn artist Billy Woods conjures up a masterclass of an album where he melds together the dark and horrid legacy carried through these racial depictions with a sonic soundscape of tormenting nightmares, where the line between history and horror blurs in reality. This is Golliwog. Golliwog is truly just an immersive cinematic experience that confronts the nightmares woven into black historical memory. Billy Woods brings in history, racial trauma, systemic oppression, and even colonialism to the forefront by highlighting its harrowing effects on marginalized communities and how they still affect us today. Now, when it comes to the production on this album, he taps in with familiar collaborators like The Alchemist, Steel Tip Does, Kenny Siegel, Conductor, and so many others, as they craft these obscure soundscapes with these cryptic jazz samples, dusty drum loops, and unsettling and disturbing ambience and noises to the point where it feels like someone is watching you in the darkest corner of your room. But in Golliwog, Billy Woods' poetic words craft a dark, unsettling masterpiece where waking up to reality is the true nightmare. And with his intense vocal inflections, the stentorian tone, and this blunt delivery with his lyricism, he becomes this disturbed storyteller that feels like he's still being haunted by his own ghost stories. The album opens up with jump scare where the sound of a film projector kicks things off like a horror reel winding to life. And what makes the song scary and very unsettling is how this uncanny synth kind of like creeps in, and then as that happens you also get the sound of a toy box melody that's just create this creepy atmosphere throughout this whole album. It pretty much sets the tone for the whole album. Billy Woods opens up with horror movie references that transition into the history of colonialism in Africa and also the exploitation of diamond mining.
The dead don't speak to the living, something not for us to know. The dead drift like empty boats. My people fled to the mountains, but it's nowhere the white man won't go.
One of my favorite lines from the song is when he says,
"The English language is violence. I hot-wired it. I got a hold of the master's tools that got dialed in."
Not only is he talking about the violent nature that came from the British Empire, but how that also transcend and how that pretty much trickled down to modern times all the way to the US, and how the US have adapted that same violent nature as well. But he also acknowledges how the English language is rooted in violence and domination. These lyrical depictions continue throughout this whole album. Like even on Maquiladores, he takes things even further by referencing the works of Frantz Fanon, who was this anti-colonial philosopher, psychiatrist, who was pretty much famous for his influential outlook on post-colonialism and its effect on the psyche.
The irrational rationalizations of the racists. The amputee says accepted, there's no escaping. Accept the prosthetics. They give ill-fitted limbs as gifts and insist you can only live in the present.
In his book Black Skin, White Mask, Fanon conceptualizes the idea of self-amputation by describing the process by which those being colonized had to let go of their culture, values, and history to violently assimilate to colonialism. But what's really daunting and grotesque about the song is how it has this ongoing theme of self-amputation, which at this point it steps into the realms of body horror and it takes it, it just runs with it. Although it's all a metaphor, I do think it's very profound to think in this matter that to give up your culture, to give up who you are truthfully is also a part of self-amputation. And yeah, I think it's something about that that's really profound and also very depressing. So as you go deeper into this album, you discover that Billy Woods isn't just confined or just talking about historical trauma, but he also widens the lens on the global horrors that are happening today. Like Corinthians, for example, he takes this bird's eye view of the world and pretty much takes a look on these man-made calamities that are caused by war, violence, and of course colonialism.
12 billion USD hovering over the Gaza Strip. You don't want to know what it costs to live, what it costs to hide behind eyelids.
It's jarring as it pulls back the curtain on the ongoing atrocities in Gaza. Under the Trump administration alone, the US has spent over $12 billion in foreign military sales to aid Israel in the erasure of Palestinian communities. Yeah, that's happening right now. And still going to this day. In Golliwog, Billy Wood's horror tales are also rooted in everyday black struggle and poverty. On the song Black Christmas featuring Bruiser Wolf, who is this Detroit rapper who, this was actually my first introduction to him. Very interesting rapper, very interesting artist. He reminds me a lot of Sugar Free with his storytelling and how his rap delivery, his vocal delivery, and even his flow. I like it a lot. He's a very interesting artist. Definitely check him out. But they tell this saddening story of a black family being evicted the week before Christmas.
Neighbors just got evicted. How you gonna put folks out a week before Christmas and they got kids? Them people sick in their head. It's sickening. Everything niggas got tossed in the street, crying kids is wicked.
This album is really just a testament to Wood's limitless imagination. It's nothing new to hear the fables and fantasies being weaved into his music, but on this album, it steps into surrealism. His ability to paint vivid pictures, vivid imagery is just unmatched. Like on the song Misery, right? Like he has sex with a vampire that happens to be a swinger. So he's caught up in like, I don't even know what to even call it. It's just crazy, the stuff that he talks about on this album. Like,
out all night and don't leave before dusk. Dark turtleneck on the basis and her husband keep his collar turned up. Ragged holes in my throat, but I love to see those lips shiny with blood.
Now what's even more surreal is waterproof mascara.
Turn it up.
Over this jagged lo-fi sample that sounds like it's being ripped straight from a horror movie is interspersed with this ghostly weeping woman that plays in the background. At this moment, Billy Wood flashes us back to a childhood memory where he witnesses his father abusing his mother.
Watched my mother cry from the top of the stairs, scared when it came through the walls. I covered my ears, half hoping you know who would die. Then he did.
Now, I can't say this enough. This is probably the more unsettling and very disturbing songs on this album. It's like it's being ripped straight from a horror movie, and then in the midst of that, there's this woman. There's the sound of this woman that's weeping in the background, and it's almost like you can vividly see this woman who is really struck in fear. I don't even know, man. It's just insane. And Wood's delivery is what truly makes this haunting. Each line intensifies with suspense, drawing out tension and dread. With his narration, it evokes this shiver in your spirit. It's almost as if he pulls you into the hallway with him, helpless and frozen, as you listen to the cries through the walls. It's safe to say that Billy Wood is a true auteur. Golliwog is another entry in his oeuvre of masterclass storytelling and crafting worlds for listeners to immerse in. His idiomatic yet blunt lyricism is a testament to his meticulous nature. While he doesn't provide any solutions to these atrocities, I believe that his Afro-pessimistic views doesn't really allow him to. In his eyes, the future is bleak. And that is my review of Golliwog by Billy Wood. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I know I did. I've been listening to this album nonstop. It's probably one of my favorite rap albums of the year, or probably the best rap album, of the year, until the clips drops. That's when I'll change my mind. But I definitely think if you're a fan of hip-hop, or you want something that's different, something to expand, or something just to really immerse in, Golliwog is it. Or just go through his whole discography. You know, Billy Wood is a true profound artist and great storyteller, great lyricist, and he's just really prolific in his own way. And as always, this is your favorite music journalist, Cleveland Rowe, also known as Poppy Cleve. I'm gonna catch you guys later. As always, peace, love,